Alright guys, so it's been a couple days. We're finally back. It's been fun so far. So to update you, we're going to put this clip at the beginning of the video, even though we're halfway through the project, as you can see by my lovely array over here. But what happened was we got the wrong timing chain. Because it is a 2011 Ford Fusion, but it's manufactured in 2010, so it's got the 2010 timing chain, which is different than the 2011 timing chain, and this all makes a whole bunch of sense. And God forbid, you know, we already had to take off half the car to get here. But anyways, we got the right parts now. So I'm gonna unbox it and show you what you need, and then we'll go through the steps. Yeah. Again with another video. This one's another specialty video. We are working on the 2011 Ford Fusion with the 3.5 liter V6, and today we are doing the alternator, we are doing the timing chain, and we are doing the water pump. So it's got an issue with the alternator, and it's got an issue, I'll throw the code up right here. It's got an issue for the bank to camshaft over retarded. So I pulled the valve covers off a while ago, figured out the timing chain is not synced up correctly. It's got 160,000 miles, so it's pretty much due for the timing chain anyway, and got to fix it so we can get it smogged and registered. So and then it's got an issue with the alternator as well, so we're going to swap that out since we're down there. So these are all the parts that I got. They say when you do the timing change, you should change the oil. So it takes a little less than a gallon and a half. So we got oil and an oil filter. However, we just did an oil change on this recently. It's still at 70%. So I'm going to try to do it without changing the oil. And then I've also got 2 jugs of coolant, because it takes like 1.75 gallons of coolant. And since we're doing the water pump, we're changing the water pump out, it does need coolant. However, also trying to I'm planning on trying to return all of that. So I'm going to pinch off the coolant lines. You probably technically should, but I'm planning on selling them. I mean, we just did the oil change and the coolant's fine. So probably don't really need to change out any of it. So I got it just in case I have to, and try not to. So in this kit, in the timing chain kit, I got this off of Rock Auto. I'll put the link in the description below. We've got the timing chain kit, which comes with the runners, the main timing chain, the 2 valve cover timing chains, and it's got variable valve timing, and it's got all the tensioners and the sprockets to change out, and it also comes with the water pump. And then I'm also, since I'm doing the alternator, I'm also changing out the tensioner belts, because a bad alternator could also be caused by a loose tensioner. So we got a belt kit and the alternator and the installation tool. All of this, the alternator, the timing belt kit, and the timing chain kit, not the timing belt, the serpentine belt kit, the AC belt, the alternator, the water pumps included in that kit, and the timing chain kits all cost about $500 off of Rock Auto. And then I got the oil, the filter, and the coolant at Amazon or at AutoZone, and that costs about $100. So we're in at about $600. I'm hoping to knock this out in like 6 hours. It could take longer, so I set aside 2 days for the project. And the general timeline of how this is going to go, first thing we got to do is jack up the car, because it's all going to be right here. Then we're going to buzz off this wheel, take off the subframe, and then after we take off the subframe, then we have to support the motor, take this mount off. We have to move the AC compressor, and then the alternator is right above the AC compressor. In order to do the alternator, it's stupid. You have to take this wheel off and you have to drop the subframe. And then you have to move the AC compressor. You can leave it connected to the lines, but you have to unmount it and move it to get to the alternator and take the alternator out. And since we're doing that, we're doing the serpentine belt, and that's going to be after we do the whole timing chain kit, which is all right here anyways. We shouldn't have to move any pulleys over because that entire kit comes with new pulleys, so it should all just be bolt on. The timing chain is marked with the proper sprocket places, so the only thing that we really have to change out is the sprockets. And I'm not sure if I need a puller for that or not, probably, but we'll see when we get there. So that's the steps. Jack it up, take off the wheel, take off the subframe, support the engine, undo the engine mount, then we'll take that front cover off. Then after we take the front cover off, we'll take the old timing chain off. We will change out the water pump. After we put the new water pump in, we'll change out the sprockets for the timing chain, put the new timing chain on, make sure it's lined up correctly. Then we'll put that front cover back on. We should have all new gaskets for that. And then after that, we'll unmount the AC compressor, take the old alternator off, put the new alternator on. Then we will put on the new serpentine and accessory belts. And then after that, we'll reattach the engine mount. We'll test everything, make sure it's working correctly. Then we'll go ahead and put the wheel back on, and we should be good. So, like I said, budgeting 2 days, hoping to get it done in 6 hours. And we'll see how it goes. We'll be recording the whole time, so let me know what you guys think of this. So this project has not been fun. So far we're 4 hours in. Finally got this motherfucker off. I did that by accident. But I figured out how to do it. So I'm gonna share that information for other people. So also I couldn't get the control arms on the steering knuckle out. So I just popped them out of the subframe. I had to take them out because otherwise the subframe wouldn't lower like I got it. So just be careful that you don't pull this axle out when you do that. Now, the best way to take this pulley off is when you so first of all, you take this center bolt out, you take the washer off, you put the bolt back in, then you use and the size of the bolt is an 18 millimeter, somewhere on there. I don't know if you can read it, but it's an 18 millimeter. There you go. You put the 3/8 extension or adapter on there, and then you use your pulley puller in the middle, like so. And then make sure to attach your pulley puller. Don't attach it to the outside, otherwise you'll end up doing that. Attach it to these inside rings right there, just like this. Attach it to those inner little bits and pull. And I used the impact and it worked. So subframe's down, Got the steering knuckle pulled off, so now I can take this timing cover off. Hopefully I didn't strip that out at all. We'll see. Yeah, so it hasn't been fun, but now it's, knock on wood, hopefully it's gonna go a little bit smoother, and I'll be able to get some better videos. All right, so we finally are making progress. We got this motor mount removed. You have to at least loosen up the coolant to be able to take this guy out, because you got to pull this top section off. Otherwise, you can't get the bolt out of this bottom section, which sits right there on those 3 bolts. You got 1, 2, and 3, and this is the one that's tough to get out. But now we're at the point where we can zip all these 3/8 bolts off, and this timing chain cover is going to come out. So update, got the, you do have to pull, I forgot to say at the beginning, but you do have to pull the intake manifold off and the valve covers, which are all 10mm bolts, which you got to take out the coil packs and do some of the harness and take the intake manifold off. And then that exposes the top of the timing chain. I'll show you how I know that it's not, well, I might be able to, if the mark's in the right place. Can't tell exactly, but yeah. So this orange link right here is supposed to line up with the timing arrow, or it might be this dot right here, and it's not, so that's how I know it's off. Anyways, gonna pull all these bolts off, pull that cover off, and then we can get to the replacement. So as you can probably see, I'm definitely regretting this project. So it was about, I started regretting it about 10 minutes into starting it, but now I really regret it. But here's an update for you. By the way, we're about 6-7 hours in, and I have not removed the timing chain yet. So that was my original prediction. Anyways, I got the front cover off, but there's just not enough room to get it out of there. I'm close, so I'm going to try to take this sprocket off, and I think if I take this sprocket off, I can slide it up this way. Yeah, anyways, it's a bitch and a half. I also had to take the alternator off because it was in the way, which I had to replace it anyways, so I did that and removed the AC compressor, and that's our alternator right there. Okay, so I figured out how to get the front cover off. You have to remove both of the VVT solenoid assemblies off, have the engine jacked up as high as you can get it, and then wiggle it out this way and curse a lot. That also helps, I figured out. So far we have removed the timing chain. So timing chain, sprocket, the crankshaft, this just slides right off. I've removed 3 of the 4 running rails. This is the one with the tensioner. The only one I haven't removed is this one right here. As you can see, that bolt hits the back of the sprocket. I don't know who designed this, because I don't think I have to take those sprockets off at all. Couple things, there is no gasket that comes with the cover, so you gotta use RTP, and there's supposed to be a special aligning tool for the camshafts that I do not have, so I'm gonna not move them at all. I honestly think I'm not gonna replace the little timing chains. I think I'm only gonna do the big one. And I'm gonna say fuck those ones because I don't wanna fuck with these at all. I'm thinking as long as my main timing chain is good, I think I'll be good. And I guess this rail is just staying in. So I got all the bolts on the water pump out. That's about to come off. But that's gonna require 2 hands. So it's got a little stud right here and a little stud right here. So I think I gotta get a little pry action on the slip right here to get it off. So this project's going typically as well as expected. This is the old timing chain. And as you can see, it is a single sprocket timing chain. This is the new timing chain. As you can see, it's not the same. It's got a wide sprocket and a dual tooth water pump, which doesn't work. It's for the 2011 engine. And apparently this has the 2010, so make sure to check the date. I thought this was a 2011. It's a 2010. So, we all make mistakes in life, and I do more than others. But anyways, make sure to check the dates. So this is a 2010 Ford Fusion, not a 2011, with the 3.5 liter. And I'm gonna put the link to the Amazon kit that I just ordered that I know actually fits. And it's supposed to be here tomorrow, so I will install that in like 2 or 3 days when I got some time. Got to send that one back, and I am gonna lay out everything on the table because I don't want to forget where everything goes, because I already have a good collection of nuts, bolts, and parts. And I got it relatively well blocked off, so hopefully we don't get too much gunk up in there. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna clean up and organize, and I'll touch bases with you guys in a couple days when we're ready to actually tackle when we get the right parts. So to be clear, what we're doing is the timing chain and the alternator, and since we're doing that, we're replacing the serpentine accessory belts and the tensioner pulley, and then we're also doing an oil change and a coolant flush because who put that? I don't know. Anyways, because we gotta pretty much drain all that stuff. We gotta drain the coolant because we're doing the water pump when we do the timing chain over here, and then the oil, well, because we get the motor open and it makes sense even though it doesn't need an oil change. So I was gonna try to do it without doing that, but it's not really possible because what happens as soon as you crack open that water pump, even if you drain out all the coolant, there's still coolant in the water pump compartment, and so as soon as you crack that open, it leaks out and goes directly into the oil pan. So you pretty much have to drain the oil and the coolant. So expect that to be done. Obviously the oil and the oil filter you can just get from AutoZone or whatever. I did the Motorcraft. This is the FL-500S, so Ford likes OEM, so I went OEM. This is the alternator and the belt set, which I got off of Rock Auto. Those I already checked fitment; they're fine. As you can see, they all match. But just beware. Make sure you know what motor you have, because like I said, when I ordered the timing chain kit, it was the wrong year. The 2011 has a double sprocket setup, like the water pump's the same shape, and the motor has like the same shape, but the chain is a double sprocket chain, so it's different. So instead we ordered this timing chain kit off of Amazon, and I don't have any Rock Auto links, so those you can find on Rock Auto. I will include Amazon links for that. This kit I actually honestly think might be a little bit better, which pains me to say because I love Rock Auto, but maybe they should sponsor me. Wink, wink. But we got two things here that's important. Let me get them open and I'll show you. Okay, so I got the timing chain kit all laid out. There's two on Amazon. There's one that comes with the water pump and then one that doesn't come, or comes without the water pump. I would suggest replacing this since you're down there. Might as well. The old water pump, you can hear it. It's already, can't spin it like this, but you can kind of hear that scratchiness. At 160 something thousand miles, it's already, you can hear that bearing starting to go out. So it comes with new sprockets, new tensioners, and I don't know what you call these, riders or whatever. And this is definitely the right one, so we have verified. And then also another important thing that you should order with this kit that you're gonna need is this cam tool right here, because this is going to be what helps you get the timing correctly. So you can, it's got these little guys right here that hold the cams in place, and then you can order it with or without this, the tool that's gonna undo the bolts that hold the sprockets in place, which I'll show you are these guys right here. Also, what's cool about this kit is it comes with replacement bolts, so you can replace those bolts, which probably throw some thread locker on there. So now we get to the fun part, which is doing all the timing stuff, and I'll show you guys that video. So you don't make that same mistake that I did, go and check right here on the door for the manufacture date. Figure out whether it's an actual 2011 or 2010. Or just don't be stupid. That's also good too. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how the upper timing chains, or the actual timing chain, is pretty easy to remove. You just have to loosen the tensioner riding side, which is over here. That little cam pivots off. You undo the one bolt on the tensioner, pop tensioner out, push the rail down, and then you get the chains loose enough you can get it off. These are for the cam timing chains. And as you can see, first thing you need is you're gonna have to put this tool in here to immobilize these cams, otherwise you'll just rotate them. And then you can take the tensioner off first, or you can take this bolt off first, but you kind of got to take both off to wiggle it out. So you got to loosen this bolt on this sprocket on the lower cam. That way you can slide this back and forth. Then we're going to take the tensioner off, and then hopefully we can compress everything enough to get this chain off and around this sprocket. Theoretically, you shouldn't have to move this one at all, except on this other side. I'll show you a little bit later. You have to, because the engineers are stupid. But anyway, so this bolt right here on this lower cam is, they send one with the kit that comes with these, that's linked below, but it's an RT11. It's kind of a little bit different than your typical Torx because it's got thicker teeth, but it's about the same size as a T55, which is what I ended up having to use because they make this sucker so long there's not enough room to get in there. So it was pointless buying that. But anyways, and then this tensioner bolts are an 8mm, so we're going to take those off. I can grab them. One thing I didn't say at the beginning of the video, you really want to make sure that you keep everything organized. So I'd suggest having a big ass table that you can label everything out on, or that you can lay everything out on, possibly label, because you are going to be taking off a lot of stuff and you will forget. I promise you, you will do it. I thought I wasn't going to. I did. It took me a while to figure it all out, but I did. Twisty, twist, 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 twist. All right, so that's the tensioner, and we should be able to get the chain off. Hopefully, I've done this before, not really. There we go. There might be a better way for this. I don't really know what it is though. Just trying to get enough room to get this tensioner out of here. There we go. All right. Take that out. Take the sprocket off. And the chain comes out. Voila! Now we can put the new one in. So it's important, like I said, you want to make sure you lay everything out. You want to make sure everything looks the same. So, for example, mix up these sprockets. That's the main chain sprocket. That's the cam sprocket. So I want to make sure that matches. And then I'll check the chain size in a second. That's for the main chain. And then the tensioners, there's a left and a right. So you want to make sure you have the right one. So you see on these two, they're opposites. So that's for bank 1, this is for bank 2. And then make sure you see that little red pin. Don't pull that out until you're ready. You got the rest of the chain in there. All right, so now for reinstallation. First thing is, you wanna make sure that you have this in place and that you got that cam timing correct. And then you're gonna see on the chain, there's 2 little gold marks. So these are your 2 timing links, and they're gonna line up with the dots on the sprockets. So like for example, this one on the lower cam has a dot right there. So one gold link's gonna go there, and then right here on the other one, there's another dot. So we're gonna put this, let's see, what route do we want to do this? I think first thing is we're gonna do the tensioner. Let's see if this works correctly. So we'll put that in. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional mechanic. Just want to get paid off of YouTube. These are more like FEL videos than do-it-yourself videos. You get to see me struggle until I figure it out. Alright, we'll torque those down later when I know I don't have to take them off. Next thing we're going to do is put our gloves back on so we can maintain our manicured hands. I'm going to take the chain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this sprocket inside it already, so I'm going to slide them on together. So as you can see, that gold link goes on that little dot right there at the top of the sprocket. Nope, that's not gonna work. All right, you gotta put it around here first. Line up that dot right there. Okay, I lied. The dot's not on the big sprocket. It's on the little sprocket. It's in the same spot though, so it works if you do it like that. Alright, then we'll take this guy, and what we'll do is we'll line up the sprocket before we slide it on. So pretty much the exact opposite of how we took it off. So get that in there. Yep, there we go. Slide that mofo on. All right. So that pretty much has got us. We're lined up here. Our gold link is on our dot. So gold link, and there's a dot right there on the back side of the sprocket. I don't know if you can see it. And then right here on this one, you got the same thing. All right. Now we'll torque these down, or torque this bolt down with the new bolt, because the kit comes with a new bolt. and then we'll pull that pin and I'll tension that up and the timing should be correct. I gotta research the torque real quick and I'll let you know what it is. All right, so I will include a link in the description to fordspecs.com that's gonna list all of the motor torque specs, but pretty much all the small bolts are 8 foot-pounds. This guy is complicated. It's, what was it, 36. T-sprocket is 30 pounds, loosen 1 turn, then 18 foot-pounds, then 180 degrees. I don't know why they have to make it so complicated. I just say be very careful on these guys. These smaller bolts, especially after being heated, are going to be likely to just don't push them too much. 8 foot-pounds is all they need. Same thing with the water pump. It's all 8 foot-pounds. All the tensioners and riders are all 8 foot-pounds. This big guy right here is 30 foot-pounds, minus 1 turn, 18 foot-pounds, 180 degrees. So let's see how we make that happen. All right, and as we've learned, always make sure they're the same. I'm gonna take that old bolt out, and there's no thread lock or anything on there, so I'm not gonna put it in there. Put this new one in. Then let's see if we got enough room to get the proper socket in there. We're going 30 pounds. Click tight torque wrench. Okay, we got enough room. Why doesn't this fit? Whoa. Stand by. The bolts are the same, like they're the same thread, same length, but it looks like they might have different heads. Yeah, so see that? So that is that RT. You see how the teeth are a little wider. This one, they're a little narrower. So I'm guessing our T55 is gonna fit perfectly in there, which is kind of cool. Rather not have the specialty socket. So let's go ahead and switch out here. It's just, I feel like that's a manufacturer thing. They intentionally put weird things so that you have to have specialty tools, which guess what, is probably made by like a subsidiary company. All right, 30 pounds is the first set. I know how to use a torque wrench. Okay, make sure it's locked in. 30 pounds, not a lot. All right, then it said loosen 1 turn. So I guess we'll just use a torque wrench for that. Turn. Why would we loosen it and then torque it again? That doesn't make no sense, buddy. Why can't it just be torqued this much? Untorque, retorque. So 18 pounds now is what we're going for. Which is nothing. Okay, now we're doing 180 degrees. So I'm just gonna use the breaker bar for this. So 180 degrees, half circle. I can only do like a quarter here. So 90, so we're gonna do 2 90-degree turns. All right, so that's 90 degrees. We'll reset. It's close to 90 degrees. Be a little bit more. Boom. All right, there we go. Let's hope that's right. Okay, now we'll torque these guys. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, our sprockets are still in the right place. So we're doing 8 foot-pounds. Honestly, probably not necessary to use a torque wrench on here. Probably just like snug and a little tight is fine. But just so I get familiar with the feeling of how tight it's supposed to be, we'll go down to our 8 foot-pounds. Should really have a smaller torque wrench. Doesn't even really click at 8 foot-pounds. Alright, good enough. Honestly, just go tight with a regular socket. Don't go crazy. Alright, so that's torqued. The VCT sprocket is torqued. The chain is in the correct place. Pop the tensioner, just pull this guy out. Boom. Now we should be good. That's pretty tight. Everything's still in the right place. So, this was bank 2. Now we're gonna do bank 1. I'm not gonna film it because it's exactly the same. It's just in a tight location, so it's not gonna be it's gonna be kind of pointless anyways. But I will show you this guy here. On this riding guy, you gotta take this sprocket off to do him, which is stupid.
And this is, I think this is the heart of why we are so markedly lonely, anxious, and depressed, is we've become very diminished people. And diminished.
All right, so now we're going in on the water pump. We got the new one here, got the gaskets already set in, got our bolts. We're gonna be torquing these to 8 foot-pounds. This one, this is inch-pounds, so foot-pounds is gonna be 2 pounds times 12, that's 96, so we're doing 96 inch-pounds.
Why do college students prefer to text rather than talk with each other, right? Why would you text your friend if you could talk to your friend? But the answer is like really illuminating. The basic answer that she gets from students, and she probes this in her conversations with them, is they prefer to text because when you text, you are in control of what the message is sent. So even as we're having this conversation, there's a lot I'm not in control. I'm not in control of what you ask, I'm not in control of how you respond, and I don't get unlimited time to figure out how to respond. I sort of have to be in the moment, and that's vulnerable, right? But if you're texting, first of all, you reduce the information stream tremendously. You've gone from, megabits of information over voice connection like we're using, terabits if you're texting. You can exchange so much information in real time. We can take that all the way down to a few bytes of information at a time. That means that I can actually look over what I'm going to send you before I send it. So I'm totally in control. I never send a message I didn't mean to send, which happens all the time in real relationships. It's much more likely you will get the message I want to send, but it also thins out And the problem is the quest for control is like directly in opposition to the quest for relationship. The more you want to get in control of a situation, the less real the relationship you have, because the relationship is risk, it is improv, it is vulnerability, and you know, we would prefer not to have that, but the more we opt out of that, the less we lack the very thing we were most deeply designed for. So that trait of, well, I'll be more in control, I won't be vulnerable, it won't be as hard, it's in some ways true, but you won't have much left once you give up the things that make relationships what they are. Well, the other thing that technology allows us to do with relationships is that we can control the conversation, we can control how we present ourselves to others so they like us. But we also control like who we even interact with in the first place. You know, a lot of the frustration that happens in relationships, you end up with people that you just don't even think like them. You know, and you have to learn how to manage that. With social media, the internet, you can find people who are pretty much just like you, and you know, as you interact with them, it's gonna be easy. Exactly. And you know, easy everywhere is what technology promises. I mean, that's the fundamental idea. Is wouldn't it be nice if life were easy? Wouldn't it be nice if everyone pretty much had the same things to do, the same style of communication as you? And it's such a steep trade-off to how am I going to become the kind of person who can handle difficulty in the world, who could actually persuade others. And this is a huge issue in our world right now. How does anyone ever persuade anyone now? Because we've lost the ability to attend to someone who genuinely sees or feels the world differently than I do, and have them come to trust us enough that I really know why they think what they think, what it feels like to be them, and that I can offer them an alternative account of the world, and like, oh, actually, that helps make sense of something that I could make sense of. But when we're siloed off from each other, and we're never encountering that real difference, we also completely lose the ability to ever persuade someone else. And then, of course, it just spirals into tiny little polarized drives, rather than people who have actually done the hard work of, how do I listen well enough across some real difference that I could be part of a real conversation? The problem is, the logic of this is ultimately, it's narcissism error, right? Because I've been married for 27 years, and when my wife and I got married, one of the things our friends said about us was, oh, Andy and Catherine are so alike. Like, we have the same Myers-Briggs type, we have the same, there were so many ways that we seemed quite similar while we were dating and engaged, and then like the day we got married, it was like a switch up, and we just discovered all these ways that we're so different from each other. Hey Siri, pause. Start the boats. Gotta start the boats. Gotta start the boats. Right now I'm just getting everything snug and I'm going to torque them. And I'm sure there's a specified order that we are going to pretend that we know. But right now, I'm just crisscross. So. Damn it, torque. Cross torque the bolts. Cross torque the bolts. Ah! Alright, let's go. Yeah, let's go here. That makes sense. We'll go on this one because that really makes more sense. No thanks, I didn't. Here, let's go this one. This one? Sure, why not? Okay, this one? This one? Maybe this one? That's the one it is. Okay, let's check it. Get it. Oh, we did this one. Good. Alright, water pump is on.
Okay, so our water pump's on. Our next steps is going to be installing the main timing chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw all the riding on first, and then this one as well, but I won't put the tensioner in. Put the sprocket on, then put the chain on, then put the tensioner on, and bada boom, Bob's your uncle, we should be good to go. So let's try that out. All right, so we got to the point, we got the water pump on, we got all the riders on. I don't even know what these things are actually called. That's just what I've been calling them. So the new timing chain does not have different colored links like you can see on the old one, like right here. It's yellow. That's the bottom one that goes on the crankshaft sprocket, and then the orange ones are the ones that go on the timing sprocket. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the old timing chain to figure out which one is which I'm pretty sure I got it right, but just gonna double check it. And then I'm gonna mark the crankshaft sprocket with a Sharpie so I know. Yeah, and I got it right there. Boom. So orange, 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 orange. And yellow. So I'm gonna mark this one with a Sharpie so I know that's one for the crankshaft. Then this will go on bank 2, this will go on bank 1. We'll throw that on there, get in the right spot, and then throw the tensioner in, and boom. Yeah, that's noticeable. That's okay. I think I should be able to keep track of them. This is a pitiful Sharpie. Okay. Let's see how this works. Let's start with this one. Start with bank 1. There's a dot on the outside of that camshaft sprocket, that VVT sprocket. So I'm gonna put that one in there. So that's lined up. We'll come down, go around our track thingy, sprocket rider things, whatever. We'll do the water pump. We'll come up. Boom, there we go. Now we just gotta grab that crankshaft sprocket right here. Fuck. Ugh, this sprocket's being a bitch. I just lubed it up too. Oh, phone call. So we are probably gonna need this bolt, which is right here. Because we might need to manipulate the camshaft a little bit. Ah, fucking cocksucking motherfucker. Excuse my language. Probably can't see anything from that higher angle. Set you guys right there. Hopefully that works a little bit better. Let's see. Go right there. My brake caliper can wear the GoPro for a second. There we go. Sorry, this is the best I can do for now. You should get a tripod. Yeah, whatever. Alright, so we gotta line that dot up, which means we gotta crank that crankshaft around. Backwards, hopefully. There we go. You son bitch. Alright. So now we got that guy on the dot. Right there. So now we just gotta put that tensioner in and tension it up. And our timing chain will be good. Hopefully not pop off right here. Come on. Yeah, stay on there. Alright, cool. I mean, honestly, despite the fact that you have to take apart half the car, the timing sequence is relatively idiot-proof. I say this and, you know, I haven't gotten it together yet, so hopefully, knock on wood, that's true, but as long as all the dots line up, I mean, you should be okay. And then maybe put this tensioner in before you put the chain on. There we go. Ah. Fuck. Click type torque wrench. 8 foot-pounds, 96 inch-pounds. All right. Now, before I pull that pin, I'm gonna double check everything. Make sure that orange, that gold links on that dot, everything's writing correctly. This one is on that dot. All right, I'll go down, make sure this one's good. Looks good. All the riders are good. I think we're good to pull it. C'est la vie. Okay, so now that we got that tensioner installed, what I did is I took a little motor oil and I poured it over the chains. Make sure everything gets lubed up. So it's got a little pre-lubrication since everything's bone dry. And then I turned it to make sure everything's going properly, that the chain's not slipping at all and everything's rotating great. So the chain's good. Now we're gonna start reassembly, which should be pretty simple. Not really. Such a mess. Anyways, the chain's done. So reassembly, first we're gonna do, let's see, we'll do the VVT solenoids. Then we'll be doing, so VVT solenoids. Then we'll be doing the timing chain cover. Then we'll be doing the serpentine belt. Then we'll do the motor mount, then the valve covers and the intake manifold and the subframe. And that should be about it, you know, easy peasy. Okay, so we have now attached both our VVT solenoids, or VCT, VVT, whatever the fuck ever. And then the timing cover has been put in place. So I bought a new gasket, and then I used RTP, whatever you call it, gasket maker. I used the red stuff. The black stuff probably would have been fine, but I held the timing cover here, put it on, flipped it over, slid it in. I had to remove the solenoids to get this out. So once I got the timing cover in place, then I put in the solenoids, then I put the timing cover on, and let's hope that all the gasket made it to where it's supposed to be and that we don't get any leaks. If we do, I don't really care. So the torque specs for all of the bolts all the way around are 8 foot-pounds and then 15 foot-pounds plus a 45-degree turn. And you're supposed to do like the middle ones and then the outer ones and then the left one, I think, something like that. So the next step after this is we're gonna do alternator, AC compressor, then the power steering pump, then the crankshaft pulley, the tensioner pulley, the power steering belt, and then the serpentine belt, I believe is the correct order for how that's supposed to go. Then we'll remount the engine on the top, the bottom. Then we'll do the the intake manifold, the throttle body, the battery. Then we'll do coolant and then oil, and that should be it. Then we'll start it over and pray. All right, we got AC compressor back on, alternator back on. We got the power steering pump back on. We got the flywheel pressed in. My fancy bearing or punch right there. Now we need to torque this bolt to 37 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. So we'll go get that on there. And that's what that says, I believe. 37 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. Okay, so we have our components installed. Alternators in, AC compressors in, power steering pumps in, crankshaft pulley is back on. This is 37 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees. Now we can go ahead and put on our timing belt. So after much, I'm doing my video. After much encouragement and breaking the new power steering belt, I was able to get the old belt on. There's a tool that came with the kit, didn't work. So I did a hose clamp, found that on a video to hold it on, and then I had to put like a little pry bar in here and rotate this pulley at the same time that I rotated the crankshaft, and we got it on. Okay guys, so we're in like 6 hours today, plus our original 6 hours. So currently at 12 hours, and we're to the final stages here. So, everything has been reassembled. Valve covers have put it back in. What, you want out of the truck? You done eating dinner? Fine, I guess. Go on. Come on. He's like, I want out of the truck. Alright. Subframe's been put back in, control arms reattached, all the steering stuff has been reattached. Haven't really leak tested anything, but I've moved the engine around enough, and I don't really notice any new or major leaks, so it seems like my gaskets are working. All the belts have been attached, and valve covers put in, all the wiring harness and hoses have been reattached, and intake, manifold, battery put back in. So now the next step, we already drained the coolant, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an oil change. While we're draining the oil, I'm gonna fill the coolant, and that's gonna tell me whether or not I have any coolant leaks from the water pump, which there shouldn't be any. But basically, the oil will stop coming out, then I'll put coolant in the system, leave that open, and if I see coolant start coming out, then I know I got a leak. Hopefully not. After we do the coolant, refill the oil, we'll start it up, see how everything is running. Okay, y'all, we are done. It's been idling. So, did the fluids, checked for leaks, didn't have any. It's been idling for about 15-20 minutes. I think we got too much coolant in there, that's cool. I think that's what that noise was. Let's send that like 3 times. Anyways, it sounds good. There's no check engine light yet. So we'll see if it stays that way. Let's hope so. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you guys got any questions or good feedback, let me know down in the comments. Thanks.